Yeah. Hey Joe, hey. P-Dub, boy, we gonna get him on this one. Hey.
All right, my name is Jacques Jones, and this evening, this presentation was pretty good. I really learned a lot about stocks that I didn't know, and I'm looking forward to do like a sit down with them and learn more. And if anybody's interested in learning stocks, you should talk to this man.
Job is to do what you can to build up your assets so you have money to actually invest. You see what I'm saying? Because that's when you could really make something happen, because it's a percentages game. Make sense? So how much do you invest? Somebody might ask, all right, because I've heard that question before. So how much should I invest? Well, only invest discretionary income with realistic expectations. What's discretionary income? It means not bills money, not money I need, the extra. Don't invest money you need within the next 6 months. You know you need it in the next 6 months? Don't. Put it in a savings account. Remember what the scripture says? You could have at least put my money in the bank so I can get it back with some interest. Put it in the bank. Get yourself 0.003% interest. Okay, that's what they're giving you. And your money gonna be there when you need it.
My question is about the stock market crashing. When the stock market shows signs of crashing, for is your 401k, your retirement, is there anything you can do to protect that money?
Good question. So, I was there. I rode through that. Back when I used to work for a different company back then, and my boss and I used to crack jokes. Every day we would crack jokes about how much money we lost that day. I'm talking, we're not talking about, $10,000. No, we're not about $20,000. We're talking serious money. And we'd be like, so much you lost? Man, I just lost 25. And I said, woo, 25? I just lost 30. Woo! And what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? It's just, what are you gonna do? Two things happened. When you are already retired, which means you're not contributing to your retirement fund, you're literally losing the money. If you're still working, then you are buying the shares cheaper during the time when the markets crashed. Which means if you stay in it and keep buying at that cheap price, even though the stocks that you owned before have lost value, you are now buying cheap. Which means in the end, when it comes back out of the recession, you would have benefited from the actual recession because you were able to buy stocks cheap in your retirement fund. Because every month you kept buying. So it's two different approaches. For the people who are young and just working and just could last it, the 5 years, the 10 years or whatever, you don't need the money right now, stay in. For people who listen, I need my money now. That is an opportunity to start thinking about you could potentially sell. Because unless you have the time to wait it out, because it will take a long time for that money to come back up to the value it was. You see what I'm saying? And you don't know how long it'll take for the recovery. And that's a chance you're taking. You see what I'm saying? I panicked and I sold. I sold my entire retirement fund. And I bought a different fund. I bought bonds. Because when the stock market crashes, the bond market goes up. So they work opposite each other. So when stocks are down, bonds are up. So I bought government bonds. And government bonds, they move slow. Which means you're not going to get as much returns as you would with stocks, but you also will not lose as much as you would lose with stocks. It's a very stable investment. It doesn't move much. 5%, 10%, whatever. It's not going to crash. You see what I'm saying? So I sold and bought bonds. And the bonds held. So I jumped in the middle of the recession. I already lost plenty. But I sold and bought bonds. And kind of rode through it with the bonds. Okay? Twitter It went out in the last 52 weeks. The price has ranged between $14.12 and $25.25, right? Twitter reported its earnings a couple days ago, and it fell off a cliff. If you own Twitter on Wednesday, it would have been about $19 something cents. You would have woken up on Thursday, and it would be less than $17, right? It'll bite you. It'll bite you. But here's what's important. Here's what I want to show you. This is Twitter's net profit margin, minus 20%. What does that mean? Twitter does not make money. Twitter's losing money, which means investors keep pouring money into the company, and they have not been able to make a profit yet. They're just burning through money. People get really excited. I'm going to buy Twitter. I'm going to slow down. They're not making a cent. It's profit. They're not making any profit. And that's a lot of these tech startups actually do not make money. That's why Facebook is so much better than most of these other companies, because Facebook has been making money. Even before Facebook went public, Facebook was making a profit. So when Facebook went public, it was a guaranteed win because they have been profitable. Twitter is not profitable. It's still not up after all this time. All the money people pointed, they're still not profitable. So you don't buy a stock from a company that has a minus 20% profit margin in the last quarter, and in the whole last year, minus 18% profit margin. You're gonna lose your money. Question? You good? So these are the kind of things you look for, right? I'm gonna show you one last thing, and then we good. Let's look for Zax. So I'll show you how I use Zax. Anybody learn anything? Anybody feels like I shouldn't give you these secrets? Just block your ears. Anybody feels like, nah, I don't want to know this? Yeah. So, right. So we have, obviously, insiders, what's going on with Advanced Auto Parts. We wait for that. All right. So it tells you this. Good. What have these guys been doing? The director, transaction type, AA. All right, let's go. Let's see who's selling. TF by. Wow, they're all buying. Yeah, they're buying. They might know something. Yeah, they're buying. Some guys are selling. Some are selling. Let me see how much he's selling. Sell 95 for $13. Some of them are selling, but then let's see the buys though. No. The recent, they're doing a lot of recent buying, which means the stock's cheap. Now it's Zax is saying sell, but the insiders are buying, so they may know something. You know what I'm saying? But this is the kind of information, this is the kind of research you do before you plunge your money into anything. Like this is where you're going to get the information. You see what I'm saying? So the last thing I want to show you is that thing I told you. I think it's comparison to industry. That's the thing.